my Trump shirt today. Wearing my Trump shirt today. Can you read it? Wearing my Trump shirt today. So we're going to have another conservative Supreme Court Justice. Very exciting. Lindsey Graham, the head of the committee that votes on whether or not the vote can be put on the floor of the Senate, said he has all the votes. If it hasn't already passed, it's going to pass, which means it's going for a vote to the Senate floor. And the Republicans have 52 votes, which is a 2-vote majority in the Senate. The Senate has to approve the nomination. One senator is a lost cause. The other senator, and I'm sorry, I don't know what the name is. The other senator is Mitt Romney. And I don't really have much respect for Mitt Romney. I don't like what he did with the health care. From what I read, he's very involved in the criminal activities that have been going on in our government, at least since the Clinton administration, but probably going back to George H.W. Bush. And I read an article today that what's coming out of the Justice Department, that it's just, not the Justice Department, the Senate, it's been revealed through the Senate that the Biden family, not just Joe Biden, but the Biden family, that means him and his son, we don't know who else, have been involved in criminal activities by which they've enriched themselves by millions of dollars through their political office, which is a crime. So everybody's waiting for Durham to move. Everybody's waiting for Attorney General Barr to move. And some people, I get tired of waiting too. But at this point, I'm determined to not criticize. We don't know what they're up against. We don't know, we just don't know. So I'm just believing God, okay? I'm believing God that President Trump is if not 100%, largely following the law's instruction. It would be great if it was 100%, and maybe it is, I don't know. And then Attorney General Barr and Assistant Attorney General Durham, I believe that's his title, that they are definitely preparing criminal cases against the treasonous politicians and the treasonous mass media and everybody that's treasonous in the country. Has been a giant conspiracy to destroy America and replace our position in the world with communist China. In case you don't know, that's what's been going on. Okay. So many of our politicians have been involved in that, and their allegiance is actually to communist China, which makes them traitors to this country, which they expected to be totally destroyed in the Hillary Clinton administration, except that the Lord didn't let Hillary Clinton be elected, and all of their plans are going south, and I hear they're trembling in their boots, and many are trying to flee the country. Some have, some are being stopped. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. We're in the midst of a major coup in this country. The worst kind of coup, the worst kind of coup, betrayed by the people that we elect to represent us. That's like being betrayed by your parents. It's the same degree of betrayal. It's incestuous, and it's very, very evil, and it's had a devastating effect on the American public. And I hope that it's possible to salvage the few generations that have been caught in this trap. I know that we got rid of what was the name of the education plan that George W. Bush put in. I'm sorry. Remember the name of it? Does anybody remember the name? It's eluding me at the moment. Okay, I was just talking about it the other day.
Common Core?
Common Core, thank you. So I know that there was a lot done to remove Common Core, and but what I didn't know was that the program that was put in its place the name of it is a year, and what that program teaches is that this country began with slavery. So it's a program that is very anti-American. And I know that a few years ago, I spoke to someone who was in college, and it was Columbus Day, and they told me that they didn't like Christopher Columbus. So I was amazed. I said to them, what have you got against Christopher Columbus? Why don't you like Christopher Columbus? And they said, well, he used to rape all the Indians, and he was a bad guy. And I just looked at them with my mouth open. I said, where in the world did you hear that? And they said, that was taught to me in school. So the schools have been poisoning a few generations. President Trump is just putting an end to that program. I think the way he put an end to it is that he told the schools that he would withhold federal funds if they didn't ditch the program, and that he has an alternative program teaching American history as it is truth. But there have been a couple of generations that are poisoned. So there's always collateral damage, you know. When there's a war going on, there's always collateral damage. We have to win the war. He has to win the war. And he can only move so quickly. You know, made me, was I sad? I don't know if I was sad or not. Some of you may have heard about DRUDGE. DRUDGE, that's a URL, it's a website. It's a news website. And DRUDGE, the Drudge Report, he used to be the place to go to get the news. DRUDGE, I mean, he was a big deal. Actually, Fox News gave him his own program. It didn't last very long because he claimed they were censoring him, and he left. And that was quite a while ago, maybe 10 or more years ago. And then I can't tell you exactly when, but you know, I don't. Whether my life never changes. The years go by, the seasons go by. My life doesn't change. Okay, I wake up in the morning, I serve God. I go to sleep at night, and I serve God, and everything's the same. It was the same through this whole COVID crisis. Like nothing changed for me. I continued to study, I continued to preach. So the years just go by. You would like see this in a movie, you know. So I don't know whether it was 10 years ago or 15 years. I have no idea. Okay, but quite a few years ago, I noticed on the Drudge Report a prurient spirit. That means that they were showing articles that would appeal, if not consciously, unconsciously, to ungodly sexual interest in the readers. It's called prurient. And I said, what's going on here? I'm on a news site, and they have all these articles, and I discern the prurient spirit on it. And I said, something has poisoned this news site, and I'm not coming here anymore. And I stopped going to DRUDGE. Now, apparently, that was the beginning. And now listen to this, because this is the pattern, whether it's on a website or it's in a human being's life, okay? In many instances, I can't say all, but in many instances, maybe even most instances, the beginning of corruption is sexual. Okay? And I understand, I've read and I've heard it from several sources that the powers in the world, these Jacob Frank people that I told you about the other day, today they're called Zionists, or so that's what they're called today, or deep state. That they start, when they want to corrupt an area, they start by distributing pornography, either on the news or when it was on the radio, when people listen to the radio. Some people still listen to the radio. And TV. I noticed a long time ago that the stations that showed programs that displayed or portrayed manly men were taken off the air. A couple of the stations, I said, what happened to these TV channels? When I used to watch television, I don't watch it anymore. What happened to these programs that show, you know, men being heroes and being strong? And the Lord showed me that there was a power that was very wealthy, that was buying up all of these radio stations and TV channels. And so the Lord has been educating me for a long time. There's an evil force moving in the country to corrupt the population, to corrupt whatever can possibly be corrupted. in preparation for the takeover of the nation. And if it's true, according to what I read, to depopulate humanity by 90%, in order to do that, they have to take out America. And in order to take out America, they have to take out the church. And it's pretty far gone. The plan is pretty far gone. But the Lord is never late. So he put in Donald Trump and the patriots that are behind him. And President Trump has been doing, I believe, working as hard as he can to keep his campaign promises. And he's kept more promises than any other, I'm told, than any other president before him. So it saddens me that someone like Ann Coulter, which we really don't hear about much anymore, and Drudge started to come against him from the beginning of his elected term. So Drudge was already corrupted in 2016. How long before that I recognized the Prurian spirit on his website, I don't know. But as of 2016, as of the election and the lead up to the election, he was very pro-Trump. So was it already starting? Was these Prurian articles already on his site, or did they start after the election? I don't know. So he was very pro-Trump, and so was Ann Coulter. And then when President Trump didn't build the wall right away, they started hammering at him. That, brethren, that is so wrong. You have to give the man a chance. He's building the wall now. And what if he didn't build the wall? What if he was blocked so completely? He's not a dictator, brethren. You know, what if the other side succeeded in blocking him and he couldn't build the wall? He's still done wonderful things for the country. Why are you hammering the man? He doesn't have enough pressure on him. You, his supporters, have to be hammering him because he's not doing what you think he should do right away. It's disgraceful. And for whatever reason, Ann Coulter has just disappeared off the scene. I don't know what her story is. She used to be on Fox News all the time. She's written quite a few books. As far as I know, I never hear about her. Maybe she has some following somewhere. But anyway, Drudge apparently has become a radical liberal. And how did my attention come to Drudge? I don't even know how my attention came to Drudge, but he came to my attention the other day. Somehow, I have to say the Lord brought him to my attention because the Lord is in control of everything. And I started to say, what happened to Drudge? I recognize the Prurian spirit, but now he's a radical, liberal, anti-Trump to the fullest extent. He's pro-Joe Biden. Who wants to elect Joe Biden? Real seriously, brethren, who, aside from someone who's in agreement with the communist agenda to take over this nation, would want to vote for the Democratic program? The program that Joe Biden is putting forth, that Kamala Harris is putting forth. It's a communist program. You just have to look at it. They want to do away with almost all energy. They want to the point that we couldn't get gas, we couldn't have cars. It's the UN plan to drive all the people into cities, put them in small places to live, and make them use public transportation, no cars. Raise taxes about 75%. Who would be voting for that except someone that wants to destroy the country as it was founded? And why would anyone want to do that? Well, some people are just foolish, and they believe the lies about a communist utopia. They believe that they're going to get free education and free everything, and who's going to pay for it? They don't stop to think about that. So somehow, the Lord started me investigating what happened to Drudge. And I couldn't find any information about what turned him, but I suspect he was blackmailed. Okay, I read several videos. I saw a couple of videos on him. One man who wrote a book about him. One man who wrote an unauthorized biography said that, according to his research and the people that were willing to talk to him, Drudge was never really a conservative. He was always in it for the money. And I don't know if it's true, but this is the only person that I could find, this was the only interview that I could find on the internet, that he was only in it for the money. And he seems to be making more money by coming against Trump. Don't know whether it's true or not. Couldn't find anyone else talking about it. Several articles very recent, like this year, or 2019, writers just realizing that Trump had gone, that Drudge had gone south. Like I said, I picked it up, years ago. So I remember, I have a memory. I believe it was Alex Jones. He used to be tight with Alex Jones, and I used to watch Alex Jones a lot. I don't watch him too much anymore. And I remember that Alex Jones said that Drudge had come to him unannounced one night to tell him that politically things were getting very tough. That's all that I remember of what he had to tell him. And then after that, Drudge went south. So they found something to hope to. They found some leverage over him. And the whole site is corrupt. In case some of you are still reading there and you don't know, you haven't recognized the spirit on that site. Even if he has some true news, the spirit on the site is corrupt. So you really need to pray about going there. Why? Because that spirit gets on you. If you go to a site that's founded in moral corruption, even if they're telling you the truth, when you go there looking for your news, that you are agreeing with that spirit. And it's attacking you and confronting you on a subliminal level and trying to get inside of you. So for some reason, I not only investigated Drudge a couple of days ago, but I'm telling you all about it, which I had no intention of doing when I sat down here. I knew that the message was not on my heart. I knew it would start with an exhortation this morning, but I didn't think I'd be talking to you about Drudge. Okay, if anybody knows anything else about Drudge, let me know, but apparently he lives in a very secluded place and is a little eccentric. I couldn't find anything about him. Don't know whether he's married, whether he has children, just that he lives on a big estate in Florida. That's all that I can find. And I'm telling you that his delivery of the news is corrupted. So I guess the Lord wanted that announced. Anything else, Lord? Does anyone have any questions for me today? I have an exciting translation in these notes. But apparently there's something else that the Lord wants to do. And does anyone have a dream or a question for me today? Who am I waiting for here? Praise the Lord. Who am I waiting for? Okay, Lord, is there anything else you want me to say before we start with the notes?